In tonight's video, I just want to discuss the conflicting stances we've seen taken by individual companies, governments, and countries towards cryptocurrency in general, and where I see this all heading in the bigger term. Okay, and I'm going to run through a few different news articles and the different extremes we see in sentiment towards cryptocurrency at the moment. Okay, so as I run through this, I just want you to keep this quote in mind from Gandhi. Okay, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. And I know personally when I was trying to get people into crypto a few years ago, at this stage where people just ignore you or laugh at you, and we're starting to get somewhere along this curve where I think we're ultimately heading that cryptocurrency has become a big part of the future, the way the world's going to run. Okay, so keep this quote in mind as I move through the articles. It's nothing new. We've seen all this before. Here's an article from 2013 about the Silk Road and how Bitcoin was a nasty cryptocurrency that's used to fund drugs and other nefarious activities on the dark web. Okay, so we've been here before. We know the light that the mainstream media is going to paint these things in. Okay, they've got other interests at heart, so nothing new here. Market Watch, another mainstream media site that I like to check every day. Bitcoin suddenly on pace to have its worst week since 2015. So when I check these mainstream sites for a reason, because they give me an idea of the sentiment that the big news stations want you to think, and compared to the actual news and the fundamentals, and really good to read both sides of the arguments and form your own opinions. Okay, whenever I read these, it's almost a sign to me that that they're wrong, and we're getting to an extreme in sentiment. And I want to illustrate that with an example here about an article written in 2015 about gold, calling it a pet rock, basically calling gold useless and no place in the modern monetary system. And not long after this article was written, the price of gold actually bottomed and has been rallying ever since. And this is a really good example of when sentiment gets to extremes and you start to read these negative articles on mainstream sites, that it's almost a sign to me that we're about to reverse and head in the other direction. Some positive news now. Goldman Sachs, a huge bank, they've actually backed Circle. And if you guys that don't know what Circle is, they're an app that's allowing cross-border payments, and they're actually offering 0% markups on foreign exchange rates. So moving in between, the euro, the US dollar, the pound. And this is really game-changing stuff. And one of the reasons I got into cryptocurrencies in the first place, because I saw this coming. And here we see an article by Australian opposition leader Bill Shorten, again, just calling Bitcoin the fuel for terrorism and funding this and funding that. Okay, these guys don't understand what they're talking about. They don't understand how the technology works and why it can bring so much good to the world. They just want to paint it in a negative light because it's competition for the banks and their interests. And I want to show you why the banks are becoming irrelevant. Here's an example of exchange rates, and going back to the Circle app and no exchange rates. So the Australian dollar is sitting somewhere around 75 today, but if you go to buy US dollars, they'll charge you 79 cents, and if you go to sell back to them, they'll charge you 71 cents. Okay, so even with the Aussie dollar at 75 in the middle here, that's about an 11% gap. Okay, so they charge you about 4 cents either way. And Circle, just by creating that app and doing what they're doing, is eliminating that 11% difference that individuals are getting fleeced when they go in and out of different currencies. Okay, and just another example of why banks are going to become irrelevant moving forward. And brings me to my next point about the value investing, and guys that used to go to school to do business and finance and learn fundamentals of how to invest in good companies, that's all out the window. And we're seeing the rise of quants. And if you guys don't know what quants are, quants basically experts in computer science and advanced mathematics, and they build algorithms to trade back and forth between each other on computers. And these days, I think I read the other day that less than 10% of actual trading volume is done by fundamental and value investors, and the rest of it's just these computers and passive investing funds these days. And it's a real worry, and it's another reason that more people are turning to crypto, because these markets just aren't fair anymore. Okay, people trading in microseconds between computers. I mean, cryptocurrency hasn't been tainted by that brush yet. Another reason I really love it. Another positive article here: Nevada becomes the first state to ban taxes in the US around blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies, and this is going to make them a haven for startups and business. And every time we see a bad article lately, I think we're starting to see a good one as well. And we've already seen China, Russia, and Japan take reasonably pro cryptocurrency stances. Especially Japan has seen business bloom lately with the changes they've made to regulation. But for every country that bans it or state that outlaws it, there's going to be another one that adopts it. And I really think they're going to see the benefits. And that, again, that quote of Gandhi, we're going to succeed. And the deniers are going to have to change their mind somewhere down the track as we start to see all these benefits flow through. The next article I just wanted to touch on was a tweet from Vitalik Buterin, the creator of Ethereum. He's put the challenge out there to someone to try and link the Bitcoin chain into the Ethereum chain, possibly as a token, same as we're seeing these ICOs. So it's sort of be pegged. The Bitcoin token on the Ethereum chain would be pegged to the price of Bitcoin, same as we see European countries peg their price to the euro. Okay, so really interesting stuff, and it'd be great to see this happen as well. Finally, I just want to touch on the upcoming Status ICO. I know a lot of you guys are really keen to jump on board, and I definitely think this is one of the better ones, one of the better projects out there. The Status guys put out some videos today on their YouTube channel, some tutorials on how to send funds using MyEther wallet or the MetaMask extension on Google Chrome, the Miss wallet, or with Parity. Okay, so watch those videos if you're keen to jump on board. I know that one's probably going to sell out fast. Have your funds ready. Be prepared to pay a little bit extra in fees as the network's going to be congested. But price-wise, we've seen a lot of stabilization over the past 24 hours. You guys know that I thought this was a healthy dip, and I was happy to buy any sharp downturns we got. The Bitcoin fork's going to be in the news again as we move forward. Money's going to flow into these other coins. Ethereum, particularly Litecoin, I think starting to really get some funds for the people that are anti-Ethereum, and actually going to flow into the Bitcoin clone, Litecoin, up 7% today. So keep an eye on that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. The channel's reached over 100 subscribers now, a few thousand views. The other night with the #2 video for ICO bubble, and that's all thanks to you guys. So give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it around if you want more of these videos. Thanks, guys.